So in today's video, I want to talk to you about my experiences in the other world and the dimensions and how they're actually set up. And they're not set up like we've been taught by either New Age or organized religion. So to access the other world or the higher dimensions, you have to look at them as horizontal. So I'll insert some pictures here so you can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. You don't go up to higher levels and all that to reach the higher planes where there's beings that are more advanced or where the masters reside. It's not vertical. The realms are horizontal. And so when you go into them, it's a horizontal, or you go into what has been referred to in the past as the inner worlds, okay? Or the inner realms. But when you go into the inner realms, you can go up or down. It's just like here in this realm that we're on the outer crust. You know, we can go fly up in the sky in a plane, or we can dig down into the earth. So once you get into the next inner plane, you can go up or down. So part of this magical path or the secret path is you are allowed to go into these other dimensions. So you kind of have to earn your way in. You have to be at a certain level of consciousness or vibration. Yes, there's some black magicians that figure out how to get into the astral realm, but that's just the next dimension. But they can't go any further than that. They're kind of stuck in just the astral realm and this realm. So there is a protective barrier that is around the inner realms. And it's like, I don't know what you would call it, like a force field. When I was first starting this journey and I would realize I was out of my body and I was flying around, I would hit like a barrier that felt like if you walked into plexiglass or something. You can't see it, but you can feel it, and you're not allowed in that realm. You have to earn your way in. They don't allow beings that don't have an evolved consciousness to come into these inner realms. You can't bring in your evil thought forms or anything like that. Once you do enough clearing and working on yourself and getting rid of thought forms and being out of fear, and you kind of individuate, you're not in groupthink anymore, and you realize you're interdimensional, and then there's more than just one world, and you have self-discipline over your animal nature and all that, then you are allowed in this other inner dimension. And that's where you go to learn and teach. These are where the masters are. And the further in you go, the closer that you get to what would be called source. So just like a cell, Earth is like that. And there's different dimensions of Earth that you can experience. But also, inside of us, there's different dimensions. So I've gone inside my body, and you can experience different dimensions by going inside. This is what they say the kingdom of heaven is within. Okay, and this is why a lot of esoteric teachings and all that is you turn within and you stop trying to focus so much on out here and the fake matrix that has been created by man, and trying to control your consciousness and keep you distracted and keep you consuming and focusing outward, and God's up there and outside of yourself. You realize there is no external God, that everything is inside of you and inside the earth, and everything has inner dimensions. We're in a soup of God, I guess. We're not separate from it. It's just a force. And what they have told, they don't use the word God when I talk to them. They call it a loving life force. So it is a force. And we all carry a drop of it. And most people don't realize that they have that inside of them, and they don't expand it or grow it. That's the only way that you can do it. And you let that fill your body and overtake you. and your ego takes the back seat. This is what people would call their higher self. It's that drop. They told me that everything, plants, trees, animals, minerals, they all have a drop of this loving life force inside of them. You just have to bring it forward. And I don't think most people are operating from that. Well, it seems like most people aren't operating from that drop. It's something that you have to grow, and you have to go through a transformation. So I want to talk too about like the beings that you encounter. So the further in you go, you're exposed to different types of beings. So there will be gods and goddesses and masters, and there will be symbols that are in themselves a consciousness. And there will be deities that represent forces of nature, just like we read in all the myths. They're very powerful. You'll experience beings that have never been human. You'll experience ex-humans. I've experienced half human, half animal. I've experienced what people would say look like aliens. Like everything that we can imagine is in these inner realms. The one you have to really get past is the astral realm. That's where most people have access to. A lot of, when you do plant medicine and everything, you're going into that astral realm. It's our neighboring realm. This is where people go when they have near-death experiences. And there's different levels to the astral realm. And I have a video about that. I'll link it above and below if you want to watch that. That explains the astral realm. It's not a place like you really want to hang out. It's just kind of like a waiting room for you to incarnate again. Once you can raise your consciousness or be initiated on the secret path, and you have allies in the other world that are beyond the astral realm, when you pass physically, you bypass the astral realm and you go to the higher realms. You're at the end of your incarnations. And so you can choose when you want to incarnate again. You can choose whether you want to incarnate again or not. Most of the time you reincarnate until you get to the level of master. And then you don't have to reincarnate again. But you stay here on Earth in the inner realm to help others. So if you haven't watched my series on the secret path, that explains it more. You go through probationary period, and then if you're accepted, you're allowed into these other realms, and you have interactions with these beings. So my interactions with these beings, there is the way that they transfer their consciousness and their wisdom is that they merge with you energetically. Now, it does feel like a sexual energy merge, but there's no like lust or we're going to procreate and make, astral babies or anything like that. It's nothing like that. It's just, that's what we equate that energy to. So the energy of the universe and creation and all that, it's very similar to what we know as sexual energy. And I've been told so many times how important our sexual energy is, and not to drain it, not to merge with other human beings unless it's in a very loving, devoted state, because you will get parasites and you actually merge with them and you take on their energy. And if you are just in a hookup culture that we're in now, you have no idea what, how many people they've been with, that they've merged with. Now you're merging with them, which means you're merging with everyone else that they've slept with. You don't know if they have mental issues, emotional issues, and when you merge energetically with them, you take on those things, okay? And if they have parasites, energetic parasites or attachments, you can also get those. So that is why in the occult circles, it was always known that if you can't be in a monogamous, loving, devoted relationship, when you do have sexual interactions with them, that it's in a different state of mind. And when you merge, it's more pure and clean. When I've been in the other world, or they've even come into this world, they can for short periods, I've had several mergings. And what happens, it's transformative. It transforms you. It ups your energetic field. You can take on some of their wisdom, but then they also have your pattern and they watch after you. Now you are psychically linked. And this is why, too, be careful who you merge with here in this dimension. Another human, then you are psychically linked, okay? And women seem to link easier, and this is why they get hurt easier if, they sleep with someone and they don't call. Breakups are hard for people because you've psychically linked. And people that I've had relationships with, I can psychically link with them still to this day and have otherworldly interactions with them because we're psychically linked. So be careful who you merge and link with, okay? It's very important in this practice and on this path. And I've been told and lectured from a master that I work with in the inner realms about how important it is, sexual energy. He wasn't asking me, he was telling me. He was basically telling me not to merge with other human beings unless it is a very sacred way. And that's how we should look at our interactions with other people when it comes to sexuality. But of course, everything out there is pushing us, to not see it as sacred, and I think that's intentional. It's, a lot of apps you can just hook up. There's a lot of porn out there. The music industry is over sexualized. And so there's just a lot distracting us and pulling us out of our sacredness when it comes to that energy. It is our creative energy. It's when I'm in the other dimensions, it's what I use to fly and move. I can feel the energy there. So it is the energy of the universe. They also communicate telepathically. A lot of the times you think it's your own thought or your intuition is a telepathic message. I've talked about how you acquire a fetch or a familiar. I'll link that above and below. You can watch that video too, where you merge with them and you have this type of merging relationship. And they keep tabs on you all the time. So they know if you're distressed or if you're in trouble or if you need to come into the other world for training, they come and get you. They swoop up your body of light that you have built and they take you wherever you need to go. You're very connected to this familiar or this fetch. Since I mentioned the body of light, I want to mention that is, you have to build that in order to get into the other dimensions. So the body of light is not the same as your astral body. Your astral body, you can detach, people learn how to do it, but you just go to the astral realm or you fly around and go to somebody else's house and, watch them and all that. But the body of light is something that on this path you build. You actually become like pregnant with it is what I was shown. And it took me a couple years until it was fully built. And then that is what I go into the further in to the inner realms, past the astral realm. You have to build this body of light and it's a golden white color. So that's something also that gets built along this path. So yeah, we need to change our mindset. It changed everything for me when I realized the dimensions were like horizontal and everything's inner. You can go inside the earth and experience these things. You can go inside your body and experience these things. So I do both. I travel inside my body and I travel inside the earth. And it's just like when you see videos of people seeing UFOs or there's planes flying, chasing a UFO, they don't disappear by going up or down. They all of a sudden just disappear. It's because they receded horizontally into another dimension. And when I had my first experience with an interdimensional being, I was in my room and it kind of freaked me out. And I didn't know what to do. And so I swiped at it and it didn't fly up or it didn't fly down. It flew like inward, like to another dimension horizontally. Okay, so that's my experience. And so try not to think of everything just up or down. And God's separated from you. We're in it. We are part of it. We're not separate from it. Try to explore, like going in and getting your answers and not always out. It's my experience of the other dimensions. And I think we have a lot of paradigm shifting beliefs that we need to go through when we're on this path. And these other dimensions are going to really start opening up as we shift into this new energy that we're in. So I would suggest, if you want to experience them, get curious about it, watch my videos, do the practices that I've recommended, and you have to clear up all those things that are inside of you if you want to experience these inner realms. Okay, so that's it for today's video, and I will see you on the next one.